Oh, hello, folks. Good to see everybody in chat. I got Toxic Man Flu manning the wrench,
TMF.
which which is like having the inmates run the asylum. But no, honestly, TMF is a great mod, and he looks after this channel and quite a few others, even like Comics Division being one, and some of the other folks. Purple Valkyrie, hello.
Oh, welcome, beautiful lady. Thank you so much for stopping in and supporting us.
Lopter, Demon King of Inferno, one of our regulars on
welcome.
Bounding into Comics chat. He usually shows up on Wednesdays. Good to see him. And we have Parrot Head, of course, in the chat already. And my good friend.
What do you mean? Oh, he is. He got here at 2 minutes after 7. Okay.
Yeah, he's been here for a while.
Parrot Head.
And Tehillim, of course, my good friend. He always pops by my broadcasts, Battlestar related or not. So I appreciate the support. Hey, Up Gang Actual, good to see you again, Mr. CCTV. Yeah. Hey,
yes.
Party. Wow, we got some new faces tonight. I'm digging it. All right, so we've got a great panel for you folks. And we obviously have the wonderful and beautiful Raquel Briggs, my co-host, my other co-host, the extremely talented and beautiful in her own right, Jane Theory, is here.
Yeah.
And we have our newcomer of the evening. And look, this is goals, you guys. He made it from the chat to the panel.
Yes.
I'm moving on up.
The roof is on fire.
Yeah.
From the basement to the roof.
Yeah. So Roof Korean is here, and he finally, after a lot of discussion, made it on the panel, and it's about time, because the guy knows his Battlestar. We've been wanting to talk about BSG with him live for quite some time, so this is good stuff. All right, tonight's episode, we're talking about Exodus Part 1, which is the third episode of season 3. Again, it's a two-parter, and it's like we were talking about last week with Precipice, because Occupation and Precipice kind of go together, while Exodus 1 and 2 go together as well. But these first 4 episodes really are like one big kind of movie. Like you could watch all 4 of these together as like a movie, because they all count as the season beginning, essentially.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, without further ado, go ahead, Raquel, and let's take us on into the episode.
Okay, so if you're new here, first let me explain kind of what we do around here. So we have a little bit of a synopsis for each scene, and then we discuss it as experts and as massive fans of Battlestar Galactica. So, if you have any questions or anything you'd like to put to the chat, please do, because we're ready to engage anything that you would like to add. So, okay, so our opening scene is New Caprica. We're picking up where we left off with the firing squad. Text comes over the screen. It reads, 1 hour earlier. We cut to Colonel Ty trying to apply fresh gauze to his eye. He's out thanks to Ellen's pelvic swirl and her betraying her fellow humans. Ellen offers to help Saul with his patch. It's an incredibly intimate moment, and it sounds as though Ellen is going to confess to selling them all out to the Cylons. But she's interrupted when Chief Galen comes charging into their tent. He's bug-eyed and panicked. He has a copy of the execution list from the Dog Bowl informant, Gata. Galen can hardly control his terror, and Ty verbally slaps him down, telling him to calm down. Ty tells him they can track the execution sites and death squads using coordinates on the Cylon maps they've purloined. Ellen is squirming. Ty sends him to organize the intel and very lovingly and offhandedly promises to raise Galen and Callie's son, sending Galen away with words of calm and leadership. Galen quits the tent for his quote-unquote mission, and Ellen is acting snaky and squirmy. And then we cut to the opening credits. Any comments on this opening scene?
The swirl.
Yeah, I mean, that's her new name, right? Ruth, like, she's the swirl for me, you know what I mean? Before she was Pol Pot, now she's the swirl.
Now, seeing this for the first time, I actually saw the whole series way after. And the first time seeing this, the gears started spinning, and I said, wait a minute, why is she so comfortable around the Brother Cable? It really got me thinking. And I was like, wow, this is the opening up to something way bigger. I had no idea. I had no spoilers. And I saw this after the last air date of the last episode. So thinking to myself, very interesting that I remained spoiler free and what is going on right now. This led me down the rabbit hole of this episode really opened it up for me.
How about you guys? Drew? Jane?
Actually, I didn't have too much to say about this particular scene. I didn't think about that, but now I'm wondering.
No,
Is it because I triggered the memory of him promising to take care of their baby? Is that what you're thinking of? Yeah. It was very offhanded, wasn't it, Jane? It was just like, you don't want Ellen and I as the parents of your baby. So
yeah, it was there was so many, like, I think, hidden type of I guess things that they put in here where you can start to see the connection, as Ruth Korean alluded to, like her being as comfortable as she was around Cable, because most most wives would kind of recoil in disgust at that, at
really, or is he just a Steely Dan? Like, at that point, isn't it just like, isn't he something you can get at the love shop? I mean, I don't know. Would you really squirm?
The actors in this are so unique because, like, you have established previous episodes. Like, we know Ellen's a flirt. Like, she even grabbed Lee's hand. Oh,
you mean a town bicycle? What do you mean flirt?
I'm trying to be polite.
Wookiee supremacy just walked in the room. So did Lady Mist. Sorry, go ahead.
So you didn't think she would actually, like, go to that point, and I never thought, like, her character. Okay, she's a little overgoing, but, like, in front of him in that situation, like, how could you even consider that as an option? And yeah, that's when I started going,
Ooh, yeah. I'm okay with it. I mean, she's like a pie, and everybody has to have a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, it's Ellen. I mean, you know what I mean? This is somebody who is just like, if they don't agree with you, Ty, just kill them all. And now, she's riding the robot. She's riding the swirl.
Well, the thing, like I always loved that one thing. I think it was back I think it was back at the start of season 2 when Ty had taken over and was in command while Adama was incapacitated, and just that comment he made to her in his quarters, oh, you just love to be down there catting around with all the men. I love.
Yeah, and what a lovely euphemism, cat. Do you know what I mean? Catting around. That's really kind considering what Ellen does.
Yeah, I mean, that particular comment always stuck with me and gave me, like, kind of a chuckle.
Yeah.
But no, really gets into some complexity here because we encounter, and I know you'll get to it in a little while, but we definitely encounter some very powerful human moments between the choice that Ty's faced with, especially with his wife, and we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, there's some very very powerful interactions in this episode, and that's one of the reasons I really enjoyed it too.
Yep. I have made TMF feel shy. I've reddened the cheeks of TMF 20 minutes after the hour. I love you, TMF.
Oh man.
Well, let's do the next scene.
Okay.
All right. So we cut to Galen panicking as he tosses the resistance, quote unquote, basement. Of course, this is a dugout, right? And he's tossing it for intel. He finds the maps and calls out the coordinates to himself. Then we cut to Galen with a resistance member in the street. They can barely contain their hurried strides, fighting to appear normal, to look discreet. Then we cut to the SAR team in the forest, led by Athena, the old man's boomer unit. Athena makes her way through Breeder's Canyon, the resistance rendezvous point. The humans stay back to hold her cover. Athena calls out to Anders, and viewers realize we've been shown the details of how the previous episode ended. We're waiting for the inevitable gunfire. Before that erupts, we cut to Pergamus Flats or Pergamus Flats. Always have difficulty with these words because
Pergamus Flats.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is that that's not actually what it is. It's because, if you speak Greek, you're like, what are they doing with the letters? We have a completely different alphabet. So what are they doing with the letters and what are they trying to say? So anyways, that's why I get tripped up there. The Cylon execution site. Galen is there with the rando resistance assistant. They happen upon the transport trucks that are herding and hauling the humans to their deaths. More random resistance members appear. They're armed, guns cocked. They take an attacking position in the brush. Galen spots Rosalind and Zarek. Any comments here?
I actually like the whole interaction that is coming up between Rosalind and Zarek, because temporarily at least they're actually getting along. Which is really weird considering, but yeah, and again it goes to the old standby. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, you can tell that Zarek always has machinations going on, and this will be, I guess this whole ploy for survival, which, yes, obviously he wants to survive. He will eventually find a way to make it benefit him politically and personally later on, which we'll get to that as well. But the thing is, Zarek does have a weird kind of charm, and for, like I said, for a brief time, he actually this episode. Well, obviously, the series operates in shades of gray, so nobody's ever truly a good or bad guy in the old sense of the word when you apply it in watching a TV show like this. But for now, he's actually a pretty fairly decent person.
Mm-hmm. While we're doing that, because I didn't look it up because I had a very busy day when I was doing these synopses, could I ask TMF or somebody in the chat to go and look up Pergamus Flats. And could they please tell me what they're working on there? I think they're working on the root word purgatory, but I'm curious. So if anybody else out there is curious, would you mind digging that up for me? Pergamus Flats. And of course, it's spelled completely in English. I think they're trying to borrow from Greek. But yeah, anyways, Pergamus. And I think they're really talking about purgatory there, but I'm just curious. Anyway, any thoughts from Jane or Roof Korean?
No, I mean, this was a scene that was just really sort of high anxiety, I think, for everyone involved. So it's understandable that his ordinary personality would be slightly different in these circumstances. I mean, I guess everyone's would, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can. I guess the impending death does something to, straighten out your moral compass.
Well, Laura also turns to him, and I think he cracks a joke and gets her to smile and like chuckle, and she instantaneously knows that he's a fighter, like from previous his reputation, the terrorist, the bomber. So he's got a reputation. So she knows that he's probably her best chance of survival as well. So she takes kindly to the fact that they're on good terms, and he kind of says, well, cheers her up, and you can kind of see she's like, all right, I trust you. He knows how to settle her down. So I think that she takes note of that.
It's very reminiscent of Gene Roddenberry, wouldn't you say? When we're done fighting in and amongst ourselves, when the aliens come, we're definitely going to decide that it's humanity against everyone else instead of our petty little squabbles amongst ourselves.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the things. You'd be surprised again when there's impending doom who you wind up in the foxhole with, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and this reflects that. So, yeah, I think that pretty well covered. Go on, Raquel.
All right, we cut back to Athena and Andros talking about how the Tsar will go down when Athena will meet with Tai. Then we cut to Galen. He spots Callie in his binoculars. So the audience is once again signaled that this is the background of the previous episode where we left off. Galen sees Callie escape. Galen and his team cannot open fire on the Cylon death squad as Callie is running directly in the line of fire. Galen gets up to go and get Callie. We cut to Athena's Ridge team. Then we cut to Athena hearing the Cylons. They open fire on Athena and Anders. Then we cut back to Callie and the team surveying her escape. Galen's sniper waits until Galen reaches Callie and they hit the dirt before she opens fire. It's absolute mayhem. We cut to Anders. The Ridge team annihilates the Cylons. Then we cut to the collaborator cops and the havoc and mayhem. Gunfire everywhere. Then we cut back to the peace and quiet of the creek. Anders and Athena's teams enjoy their victory. They assess their losses, and a resistance member finds their map on a dead skin job. They know they've been sold out. Anders knows immediately that it was Ellen, of course, because it was only the three of them around the fire, and she was supposed to destroy the map. Any comments?
Yeah, I really liked the whole thing, and it's funny in the middle of the whole thing where Callie was running through the field of fire. It's just it still strikes me that somehow that weasel jammer decided to do a good deed and cut her loose. So
yeah, Well, I think that he's having a quote unquote Judas moment, right? Where he's realized what he's done. I don't think he
Yeah.
realized the impact or the fallout of what he was going to do. And of course, he's not brave enough. He's not good enough of a person to set everyone free. He only sets her free. And so it's very telling of his character. It's a very Judas moment. You're almost waiting for the coins to be tossed the way they are in the Bible.
I can't. I'm telling you, I cannot be the only person. I know back when this was when it was having its first run on TV, and we had the website, when we had the Pegasus actual website, on our forums, like one of the big topics we had, we had a Jammer hate thread, because people just hated Jammer. We all hated Jammer, and I'm surprised, just like talking about this so far. I fully expected more people to mention like they hate Jammer.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, because of course what he's done is absolutely terrible.
I can't believe Roof Korean. I can't believe you didn't hate Jammer.
Well, so I didn't mind him, but I had a bit of a continuity issue with this, because if you spend so much time with somebody on the flight deck fixing ships, like they work together, how did you not recognize his voice? But that's for, I think, another episode. But you should know that's who it is that is telling you, and at which point why Callie didn't give him the third degree. But it's in the middle of a situation. But Jammer, yeah, I should have known better, knowing that was him in the uniform and not like one of the lesser B actors, and seeing him go through all that he would take his fellow people. It bothered you, and I can kind of understand where he goes from here. And I actually think my hatred for him it became satisfied, where I become content for him in the future, maybe, if that makes sense.
I don't know, Jane. What did you think of Jammer?
I think it reflected reality. I mean, you have people like that in the real world, so you're going to show that in this particular, you know, series and these circumstances. Um, I was actually sort of more, um, just in terms of entertainment value, the rescue. I mean, I forget the guy's name, but the one who was like, count to five and start shooting.
Oh yeah, yeah. Uh, the Chief Tyrrell, he was telling Celix that, because Celix was the sniper.
Yeah. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, you're risking your life to save someone else, but at the same time, you would essentially be the cause of your own death if you don't time this perfectly or you're not able to convince her to call. So, yeah, I was sort of on the edge of my seat watching that play out.
Yeah, yeah. I like that too. And it's funny because sort of, a lot of these, like, that we consider bit characters, get some bigger pieces of the pie coming up shortly in the show, and you're gonna see that happen with like the character of Celix. So so you have that as a viewer to kind of look forward to as far as character growth. So as you guys watch these episodes, as we talk about them, you'll see that, and the name escapes me right now of the actress that played Diana Celix, but yeah, she deserves props. She was pretty good, and she's going to take a little bit more prominent role as we go along this season. So keep an eye out for that. So we actually got some answers to.
We did. Could we please highlight 33 minutes past the hour, Mr. CDV?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm going to go through all of them, Raquel.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Great.
Cox said it's from a city in Greece,
Yeah.
Pergamon, and he linked the Wikipedia article for that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got Pergamus was supposedly the grandson of Achilles.
Yeah.
And then Mr. CCDV makes the point Pergamus is an Acropolis, which
Yes.
was the capital of Pergamum,
Yeah.
one of the 7 churches in Revelation of St. John in the Bible.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
so some
yes.
very interesting stuff.
So as you can see, that's why I was like, where are we going with this? But to be 100% honest, I studied Greek mythology in university, and I've never heard of Pergamus. That's why I was like pear. Because I was thinking of that purgatory, right? So that's why I'm thinking of Pergamon or Pergamum or whatever. But I don't know what's happening here. I think it might be all 3 meanings, which would definitely be in keeping with Ronald D. Moore's way of weaving this this polytheism in with the monotheism, the pantheon, the Greek mythology, and even sometimes he's gotten into, the wheel of samsara, which is, of course, in Indian religion as Buddhism. So, once again, we're having this convergence. So, I definitely think that he's trying to make a nod there. So, but instead of a purgatory, like I thought, it's definitely, I think, taking a nod to Revelation. So, because of course, they're always going to want to make these areas of the planet where people would die, right? This is obviously what also happened on Caprica. So, thank you so much, everyone, for doing the research there. I do like to search this stuff out because this show is so well written. That there's a literary quality to it, and things are never by accident. So thank you for helping me to ferret that out, because I think it's important information. These names and these places, they're not just they don't just happen by accident. The author has an intention behind them. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, props to you, Tox and Mr. CCDV. Thank you so much. All right, go ahead, continue, Raquel. I'm going to step away, grab a drink.
Yeah, no problem. So we cut back to the execution transport. The resistance cuts everyone free of their zip ties. Zarek thanks Rosalind for saving his life. She's actually thrown them both to the ground. We see Death Squad Cavill has taken a bullet. Cavill is rolling around in pain and reaches for a nearby gun, but Galen's sniper kicks it away from him and celebrates Cavill's pain. Galen spots Rosalind and Zarek. Everyone is relieved. Callie asks what's next. Where do they go from here? Galen proudly announces that they're going home. He says Admiral Adama is on his way. We're getting off this rock and going back to Galactica. Garrick dons a poo-eating grin. I don't like to swear on the air. And Rosalind looks like she's been slapped. They close the scene by panning to the heavens, which is a beautiful shot and to great effect. We go to the black, only to find ourselves immersed in a skin job's dream. It's Beers. She's dreaming of a total apocalypse on New Caprica, a screaming baby, and Starbuck. She wakes up in a sweaty, naked mess, relieved that it was all just a nightmare. Any thoughts on this one?
Well, it couldn't have been that bad.
What couldn't have been that bad?
The dream.
Yeah, I think it's actually this intense, and she's a sweaty ass mess because I think this is her first dream. I'm not too sure about the lore on that, but you'd have to ask Jane or Drew. But I'm pretty sure that this is the first time that a Cylons had an independent dream, or Skin Jobs had an independent dream. So yeah, thoughts?
I thought it was pretty cool how they portrayed it, especially the effects on her face and her eyes during the dream.
It was cool, wasn't it?
Really cool, and an interesting way to show us that it was a dream, but it was a different kind of dream. Almost as if it were electrical of some sort.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just a very cool effect.
It's really weird that you should say that, because that was actually my feeling as well. And you know, when they climax, when the skin jobs climax, of course their spine illuminates.
Right.
And that's exactly where my mind went there as well. It's almost as if light is life to them. And to see their eyes glowing as if it were Dune and they had, you know, their fair share of spice. It was very reminiscent of that power or that light, or I don't know, that intoxication of life. You know, when you climax, that's a form of intoxication. And in this dream that she's never experienced a dream before, the eyes, the windows of the soul, are this source of power, this light, this intoxication. So I love that you thought that your mind went in that direction too, Jane.
Six and Boomer had the same reaction in that episode where, like, they were trying to rebuild the old Caprica, and Anders, when Starbuck comes back, or Anders is captured by them. In that episode, they almost have like the same awakening or revelation, like something is bigger, and it's like you're seeing that like light switch turn on, and they're like, oh, there's something more. Can you feel it? Like there's an awakening of a force, but in Battlestar, obviously.
It's where all science fiction converges.
So something similar to that, where they kind of notice that, yes, there's something big. I'm feeling this for the first time. Like there's something else out there, and that's different. Just like most sensations for most people, the first time you experience it, you go, "Oh, okay, I burnt my hand on the stove. That's the last time I do that."
Yeah, but
right.
for a cyborg, for an android, for not fully human and not fully robotic, I'm going to break into a Megadeth song here. No, I'm kidding. You know, that can be a super intense feeling, almost as if pleasure and pain are felt equally due to this sensation overload, this experience of sensation. So yeah, really, really cool scene.
Okay. We got a question from the chat. Hope the panel can answer a pressing question. When did Galen shave his beard?
Yeah.
And you know, that's something I kind of wondered, because like it was funny because 1 minute Chief Tyrrell like kind of had a bit of beard going, and then next minute, boom, it's gone. And I'm like, well, I guess that he actually found the time in the middle of fighting oppression to shave his beard.
Well, we don't know. I mean, it's just not revealed. He could have been giving mustache rides, and then he just decided, you know, I'm tired, and a man's got to rest, so he just shaved that off.
could be.
You know, it's a lacuna. It's left out of the story. We'll have to wonder.
Nice.
Was he giving mustache rides? We don't know.
Man, thanks for the question there, Up King Actual. All right, so go ahead and continue, Raquel, unless you guys were waxing poetic on a point.
Oh no, Jane and I got off on a tangent together, and then Ruth joined in because we just saw a convergence of different types of lore all come together when we're talking about the soul and power and what's human and what's cyborg or android or a mixture between the two of them. Okay, so we cut to the presidential ship. Gaius is in bed with Six. It appears as though Gaius has a limp biscuit. He sits up and defiantly says he can't perform because of the executions. He asks about Six's day at the office. He whines about his responsibilities, the importance of shit tickets. Six then whines about what she's given up. They fight as per usual. They're both miserable. Yes, it did all for the nookie. Any comments on this scene?
No, other than I did it all for the nookie.
I call BS. I call BS. If I'm laying in bed with Trisha Helfer,
yeah,
even if it was amputated, the ghost one would still work.
Yes,
Oh my.
that's a
Yeah.
good point.
But at the same time, what if you saw her killed at point blank range? I mean, I think that if you were an empathetic person, you would have PTSD from that, especially if you were passionately in love with her, right?
I would, but at this point, it's so down, and you know nothing good is going to come out of this at all. That I still would just say this is my last moment on Earth. I just want it to end, or New Earth, or New
Yeah.
Caprica.
New Caprica.
This is my last day on New Caprica. I just want it to end, and
Yeah.
but I'd carry on. As
Yeah,
best as I could.
I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to humanize Gaius because he is such a megalomaniac. He's such a narcissist. He's gone over the edge. So I think that this is Ronald D. Moore and the team trying to reel him back in and still keep him relatable by showing that he does have guilt when it's in his purview, like when it affects him. And so for, there to be trauma against a 6, that's when he actually feels something. The rest of the time it's all crocodile tears. But now, I mean, he can't get it up. Poor thing. We have some comments in the chat. If we could throw them up to the marquee. Starting at 42 minutes past the hour with TMF. The realization that something happened organically when you are a machine must be euphoric, wondrous, scary, and confusing all at the same time. Yeah, those are my thoughts exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking and feeling, TMF. Excellent comment. And then the mustache coaster has left the station. Yes, 100%. I concur. And Upgang Actual has said at 43 minutes past the hour, good answer. So we have an approval. This was all about the mustache coaster. It has been retired, and that's the end of that little plot hole.
Yeah, kind of the scene with and Rukri, and this is still Caprica 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the scene with Caprica 6 and Gaius. I agree with your point, Raquel, because they were kind of trying to humanize him, and
Mm-hmm.
it's important because further down the road, you kind of come back to these moments, and you can understand that to a large degree, he was in a real shit situation.
Yep.
And he was and two obviously he made horrible decisions the entire time, but the thing is the guy was in a very almost impossible situation, and he had a crisis of conscience, and you could see that come out, and the difference though is he has problems breaking through the selfishness, and
well, he's definitely mentally ill. I mean, we've talked about this before. He's definitely got like a clinical level of NPD. He has to be portrayed that way, to make him this masterful villain, right? And I think it's done to a good effect. He's a complex villain who is only upset when it affects him, and yeah, raging NPD, probably why STD scares him or hates him, so much. But Mr. CCDV has a comment at 46 minutes past the hour, and you're getting exactly where I wanted to go with that, with a little bit of research there. So Pergamum was praised for holding tight to the faith of Christianity, yet they were chastised for allowing outside influence, pantheism, to affect the church. Sounds like BSG used an allegory for silence. Yes, so that's exactly the question that I was asking, and that's why I was searching for that root word, where Ronald D. Moore was going with that root word, and it appears that was the right direction. So excellent. Thank you so much, CCDV. Wonderful.
Up King Actual says it helps the advertisers sell little blue pills.
Yeah. Yeah, totally does.
On to Mr. CCDB's point, like when I just want to make my 15 seconds of fame wonderful. So when do you see writing go into that much research nowadays? It's very rare to see somebody go that deep into it to make an allegory for what is going on, to let you, because by the end of the show you kind of understand the journey you've been through.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, I wouldn't exactly call it an allegory, but I would call it illusion, because I think that they're trying to create an agreement with the audience that something monumental and religious is going down, and of course we have this struggle between the pantheon of gods and this monotheism. So maybe not allegory, but illusion for sure, because that is the agreement being created by mentioning that circumstance, that text, or that word. So I just I love it. I think it's absolutely great, and it's one of the reasons why I love this show so much.
Up King Actual brings up symbolism here, and says that the ending of that interaction, that scene, is very telling, with them sitting on the bed in opposite directions. Very very subtle, but very very telling way of just symbolizing something by simple positioning. And it's like again, it's a little nuances in everything that make this show like a cut above a lot of things. And Toxic Man Please says, we'll give you 16 seconds.
Yeah.
Timer is ticking.
Up King Actual said Christianity's rise in the pagan Roman Empire. Yeah, that's another good point. And
sorry, 51 minutes past the hour.
I know. Tox. I like that. So the core of the show is a Poison song. Give me something to believe in.
Yeah, that's actually what's happening. Is
they should have had that on the soundtrack.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what's happening, though. This is this struggle between this atheism and then this pantheon of Greek gods, and then some of these Buddhist ideas, and then of course we have monotheism, this Messiah idea, or biblical idea, and they're trying to say that this is where it all came from. So yeah, TMF, great comment, but hysterical and good comment.
Yeah, but definitely, again, just to sort of, before we move on to the next scene, just to put this to bed, keep an eye on, just the interactions and the struggle that Gaius goes through throughout the New Caprica portion here, because it will play a role in how you view the character down the road. So so do pay attention to that, because I thought they did a good job of it. And don't forget, we speak to the quality of writing, but again, at the time, this was for all intents and purposes an all-star writer's room. So it was they had arguably like the Yankees had the old lineup in baseball called the Murderers Row. This was the Murderers Row of writers. It was.
Doesn't this show also have a Bible, Drew?
Yeah, it does. And I actually have that. And one of these days, we'll set out.
Same as Gene Roddenberry, right? You got to have your laws set out. So is we're not reaching into the dark and just pretending this show is more than it is. There is a tangible literary quality happening here, and it's entirely on purpose.
Well, and to make a greater point as far as television goes, and I think, Jane, you probably recognize this, because I think, didn't you watch Game of Thrones?
I did.
Yeah, well. See, here's the thing. This was, in so many ways, because at one point in time, Ruth Korean knows this was rated as the highest show, the best show on television back at that time, and this was Game of Thrones, before Game of Thrones, not in the sense of definitely different plots and different lore, but this was Game of Thrones from the standpoint of the popularity and understanding, like, because this was a phenomenon, and that is the thing. Oh man, Tox, you just thank you.
I can't even handle it. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
That happens to us sometimes on this show, guys. We love each other and we respect each other immensely, but we also really care about our chat and we interact with our chat here a lot. So you guys are a total part of the show. So if we start giggling when each other is talking, it's because we're paying attention to you. You matter to us. So yeah, he's a Drutheist. TMF is a Drutheist. He believes in the return of the massive love member into the canal of blessed comfort. Oh my God. Oh God. TMF. So bad. So funny. So bad.
Where's Parrot Head right now when, he needs to come and just say, y'all need Jesus?
Yes. Or turn that into a hashtag, which Parrot Head is so good at.
Or if we had, according to Christy here, she'd probably say that too. Y'all need Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. So go ahead and continue, Raquel.
Okay, so we cut to Starbuck. She's with the baby skin job back at the Leoben Love Den. Kara, is alone with the toaster tot. She apologizes to the robot baby hybrid. Daddy's home. And it's seriously like The Shining when Leoben walks in the room. And Kara is bonding with the baby toaster tot. We cut to Beers walking out her nightmare in real life. She enters the Oracle's tent. The Oracle welcomes her. The Oracle asks for candy to chase the Kamala. They argue about God. The Oracle says she knows about Beers' dream. The Oracle says the monotheistic god of the Cylons has a message for Beers. The boomer Hilo baby is alive. New Caprica will be undone. Beers begins to cry. So thoughts on this one? This is really crazy because, of course, imagine somebody telling you that your God is speaking to their God, only you believe in a monotheistic God. And it's this whole idea of religion is a giant melting pot and it's all the same. Boy, is that ever coming clear through here. Thoughts on the panel or in the chat?
This opened up my eyes. I said, look at her. And is this this is the same actress? I just couldn't help noticing. I believe this is the same actress that played Honey Bunny in Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
in the diner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she was that lady from Pulp Fiction. Yes. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
So Amanda Plummer, if I think that's if her name is correct.
Yep.
So the first time I saw her, I just couldn't help thinking of her just jumping up in the middle of talking to her and pulling out a handgun and just screaming at the top of her lungs.
Yeah, I know.
Well, she's weird enough. She could have been Tank Girl as well, right? She's one of those quirky actresses where you're not quite sure how she's going to portray her role.
I see her so calmly sitting there in the diner in the chair, and then all of a sudden, like looking across from Tim Roth and just jumping up and screaming at the top of her lungs with a gun. And Samuel L. Jackson's like eyes lighting up and going, that's Amanda Plummer.
Yeah.
That again, this opened up the series for me because I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's not just robots versus machines. This stuff that's like a machine is becoming aware of its existence, or it's going on an existential journey.
Yeah.
And you're noticing this both through humans, and now I'm seeing this for the first time. I'm going, what is going on? This is crazy. Like, I haven't seen anything this deep. And I believe when it was on,
The chat.
Whoa! The chat just put up two really, really cool things. Can we please put them up at Mr. CCDV? Ironic how they flipped the script to make the Cylons monotheistic. But then Steven just walked in the room and said the coolest thing.
She's the daughter of
really?
Plumber, yeah.
No way.
Yeah, so there you have it. See, that's why the folks that watch this show, our chat is so good. Everybody is on
nobody's
point.
better.
Everybody is on point with just adding in like great stuff to the discussion. I love it. And or a little earlier on, Upgang said Oracle looks familiar. Maybe she could tell us what the gold stack is in Marcellus's briefcase.
Yeah, that's great. These are awesome comments. But let's stay with Stephen Ernest for a second here. Wow, could you imagine being the daughter of Christopher Plummer, this super serious actor? He's a Shakespearean actor, I believe. And then you be known for this sort of quirky kind of tank girl sort of, but I mean, she was in Pulp Fiction, so she's, accomplished in her own right. But I'm just sort of taken aback right now at how different she is from her dad.
Yeah.
Her dad's so serious, and she's just, she's, I don't know. Yeah, crazy. That's crazy. Mind blown, Stephen Ernest.
And to truly bring it full circle with parallels, Christopher Plummer is replacing Donald Trump in Home Alone 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course.
Isn't Christopher Plummer Canadian? Jane?
I think that's just.
Is Christopher Plummer Canadian? I don't remember.
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know if he's Canadian or not. But
as a drutheist, we make offerings to our deity in the form of 55-gallon drums of lube.
God.
Our chat.
But that's why, again, this chat is absolutely priceless, man. Love you guys. And thank you so much for researching a lot of these like different little facts and adding in, just entertaining comments, because it makes this podcast, this show like one of a kind when we do it, and it makes it so much fun to do.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. But yeah, in Home Alone 2, obviously, if anybody didn't know that, they edited out for stupid reasons. Obviously, they edited out the Trump cameo because 3 or 4 people complained, and it's a popular thing to do, Orange Man bad, so we have to cancel everything he's in.
It's just very strange how these episodes are lining up with the times and the connections. Like
absolutely.
Just so happens to be the daughter of Christopher Plummer, who happens.
It was
to be...
worse when we went on hiatus, because Roof, if we wouldn't have gone on hiatus for the Christmas vacation and New Year's vacation, it was like aligning perfectly. It was a total eclipse of reality and fiction. It was mind blowing.
From a TV show from 2004.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Jane?
I was just going to say that it seems to align all the time.
It does.
Pretty much all times. It just shows how we as human beings continue in the same cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, Jane, my God, you hit the nail on the head. I mean,
pretty much any point in history as well.
I mean, right now, guys, if you're watching this, and following along with our discussions each week as you watch the episodes, I mean, you're going to see a lot of parallels, especially during the new Caprica thing right here with what's going on. and
Yeah.
and it's pretty crazy. And just the stuff that we did leading up to it, the stolen election and everything else. I mean, my God, it's uncanny. So
But
yeah.
Jane is also correct in the fact that that is what the text says as well. So the text, within the text, they're always saying that a part of their prophecy is these cycles, that they've been here before, that they're going to do it again, that they're going to live through this same cycle over and over and over again. So yeah, it's neat because it's happening in the text and it's happening outside of the text, and it's very uncanny, very eerie.
It's a great reflection of humanity. That's one of the things I like about the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and it's one thing that again, I don't think that they got to do a lot of with DS9, because a lot of the things that you see playing out on New Caprica, and this was confirmed. Ron Moore said a lot of the material was stuff that they did not get to use, as far as and it would have been fascinating from a Bajoran and Cardassian perspective in DS9 if we would have got to see the initial occupation and things like that. They were going to use a lot of this stuff for the occupation of Bajor, and they didn't get an opportunity to use it, so they kind of repurposed the material that they had from back then and used some of it, and it played out obviously in the in the New Caprica storyline. But I'm glad that it got to be used. My only regret, I think, as a Star Trek fan, is I didn't get to see it in my Star Trek. But I did get to see it here, and they did very well with it here. But I thought that with this version of Battlestar Galactica, because I know there were a number of people in our chat that said that they watched the old one as well.
Me too.
This was very starkly different from the aspect of and it's what Jane brought up. It got really on a human level dark and gritty and looking in a mirror type of thing, and that I think was what separated this in the quote genre of science fiction, because there's a lot of things that are usually outlandish and over the top when you think of sci-fi, and this was very just human drama, and that's what I think put BSG on another level, at least this version of BSG, as opposed to a lot of the other things that you didn't go from. I remember when they used to have Sci-Fi Fridays, and this was still on Sci-Fi Channel along with Stargate Atlantis, and I think the Firefly was on too. And you would watch Firefly, you would watch Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis, and then you come to this, and man, it's like very jarring, because Stargate, while it has its moments of drama, it's nowhere near what this was. This was like this was the ride of we're going to give you a dose of reality. So you better watch all those shows before this and get your lighthearted stuff in, because we're going to smack you in the face. And this show kind of did that. It really did take no prisoners. It had its action and adventure, but it really did take no prisoners. So
It did own in what it did, though. It's not like the new Star Trek where they didn't own what they did. I'm always quick to remind people that they owned it. They said, this is not the real McCoy. We're reimagining this. And so for a lot of people who liked the original Battlestar Galactica, it was a little easier to reimagine it in this way because they were pretty upfront about it. They weren't saying, no, this is the real Battlestar Galactica. They never tried to do that. They just said, no, we're going to reimagine it. We like this IP. We want to show what it could be if we went in an entirely different direction. And I think in that case, they won over a lot of fans because the fans respected that they were super upfront about it and weren't trying to retcon anything, right?
Yeah, they weren't disingenuous. They made an entirely different universe, an entirely different continuity, and I think it's allowed the fandom to embrace both. Yep. And I do want to welcome in Steven because we have so missed you, and I know that. Steven's been incredibly busy. He's been working on his channel. He's been working on the book. He's doing everything under the sun.
Drew is making excuses for it, brother. I was lost, but now I'm found.
How are you, baby? We missed you.
Drew's being nice. I found a really nice hole, got lost in it. Drew's being very nice. Thank you, brother, for understanding. Thank you. I had to find something. I was missing a critical element in my life that is critical too, man. But now I got it, and I'm good, and I'm ready, and I'm back.
All right, so Steven
came in here like it's a pants on stream. It's like,
yeah,
you have pants on?
Serious.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is a first, everyone. This is a first for the Pegasus Actual Podcast.
Oh, no,
Walton's wearing pants.
No, there ain't no pants here. So I came in and was serious, talking about the fandom and everything. No, I love what y'all were saying. It's just not me.
So Steven, Roof Korean finally made it from the chat to the panel. Look at that.
You have a voice.
I'm moving on up to the east side, to the deluxe streaming spot in the
sky.
In the sky.
I just didn't picture you sounding like that. I'm much angry. I thought you'd be much more angry. I don't know. I just think maybe the avatar.
Were you expecting him to grr and arg like a pirate, or what was it?
I expected to feel threatened. Like this dude's voice was just money was going to jump out my pocket and into his. Like I was just and then it just happened. Look good to you, Korean. How are you?
I'm absolutely wonderful. It's good to finally talk to you, author Stephen Walton.
Good to talk to you. Thank you so much for being so supportive of our channels. Let me get that out of the way before I say, awesome. And sorry I was late, Drew. I am sorry I was late.
Oh, dude, no big deal. Obviously,
I was wore out. A brother had a serious 24 hours. And if it was not for my sore arms, my stiff back, and a pain in one leg, I can't really understand. I can't explain it. I feel like I was 25. What are we talking about?
So we're on.
Did you hear that, chat? He has tired arms.
Oh, Raquel.
Man, Raquel, you
gotta stay hydrated. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're on Exodus Part 1, Stephen. Obviously, we got through a lot of the exposition and everything of those first two episodes, and now we're getting to where the pace is picking up, things are ramping up.
Oh yeah, that's where I'm at. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's getting pretty damn interesting. So
why is Jane so quiet? Why does Jane come on a panel and then she's quiet?
Oh, she put in the thing.
I'm in trouble now.
In BRB.
I'm just waiting.
You're just waiting.
Mm-hmm.
You can't wait, Jane. You gotta run out and grab it. You gotta run out. You gotta snatch it. You gotta take it. That's what you gotta do. You can't just wait. You can't just sit down and wait.
We have a Walton theory in the chat. It's usually a boxy theory. Now we have a Walton theory.
Uh-oh.
When you are two-fisting shake weights for hours, your arms will get tired, TMS says at 13 minutes past.
Damn, Tox, how did you figure me out already, brother? What the hell, man? I was not skiing. I was not laying down and skiing. That's not what was happening in my bed over the last 36 hours.
Oh man. Oh god. You know, we got crazy stuff in the chat tonight. I mean, it's been lit all night, dude. It's great.
Good.
So, all right, Raquel, go ahead and continue.
Okay, so we cut to the fleet in space. Hilo is organizing the rescue mission on the hangar deck. Duala is there. Hilo reassures her that they will be successful. The Pegasus and Galactica crew pray for one another and say their goodbyes and well wishes. We cut to Chubby, Lee, and Adama. The old man tells him they have 18 hours, and then Lee should take the last remnant of humanity to Earth. They are both emotional, but the old man asks Lee not to make him cry in front of everyone. They hug. Fat Lee can barely make it up the wing of his Raptor for a salute.
That's why Jane. I'm sorry. That's why Jane ain't talking that much, because these are Chubby Lee episodes. I get it.
No, but Jane loves him anyway.
Yeah. Well, you know, and
for him to come to you, Jane, it's going to take him a while. He's a big man now.
And I want to jump in like super quick about that interaction between the Admiral and Lee, because man, it's just a good, you know, dad and son moment, and you know, and I just love Adama's comment. He's like, you know, don't make me cry on my own hangar deck.
Right.
You know, I mean, it was great. And you know, and then Lee gets up and you know, as they're leaving, and he salutes from the Raptor, because the Admiral has everybody snap to. It's attention, Commander Pegasus departing, and it's just great. Oh God, here we go.
Oh, TMF.
Yeah.
Be nice to Jane.
Even if it's hidden with a belly, the belly umbrella.
Glad I don't have a wrench.
What was that, Jane?
He's glad I don't have a wrench.
See, there you go. Ooh.
Hey, if y'all both had a wrench, it'd just be a wrench war, because y'all are be both wrenches.
Yes, it would. I would ban him as soon as he came in the room.
Oh God, yeah.
But I like this scene, and I loved that they had the bagpipes in the background during it. That just added an extra layer.
No doubt.
Well, that's that little like Adama theme song, you know, that they
the Lee victory song.
Yeah, the Good Lighter song. Yeah, I mean, and I like that because I have the soundtrack. Yes, I have the soundtrack to all 4 seasons, you guys. And
what kind of bagpipes are those, anyways? Are they Irish or are they Scottish?
I think they're slightly overweight.
Yeah, I think it.
No, does anyone in the chat know? Since we're researching everything, does anybody know if that is are those Irish or Scottish bagpipes?
I think Bear McCreary used the Scottish.
Yeah, I always found that weird because, you know, like coming from like my Greek family, right? When I lived as a Greek person for, you know, a decade and a half, right? The thing that you're thinking of is the bouzouki, but you don't get the bouzouki here. You get the bagpipes.
No, this was all. I believe it was all the traditional Scottish bagpipes, and
cool.
Because if I remember correctly, there was an interview with Bear McCreary where he was talking about the music of BSG. Yeah.
You hear how Raquel's gotten diplomatic? I'm proud of you, Raquel. She wants to go all in Greek. You know it. Like, she's like, that does not fucking belong there, and this is why. Because and this does not match together. Thank you, Kel. Thank you.
Well, what else can I do? What everybody likes. What everybody likes the bagpipes. Like if they like the bagpipes, I'm not going to begrudge them their bagpipes.
I understand. I understand. I am thanking you. I am thanking you.
No, don't hate on the bagpipes, man.
It's also the fact of I can't imagine somebody writing a song for a bouzouki that would do Adama justice. I just don't see it.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Like, think of Zorba the Greek, you know? Dun-dum,
Well, there was also
dun-dum. Like, it's not working, you know what I mean?
yeah, there was also like I know like some of the, I want to say some of the music might have been in this, or I might be thinking of one of the songs in Blood and Chrome, but no, I think it was in this show proper. They had I think the old intro.
Drew, Wookiee Supremacy says they were Ecuadorian bagpipes, sir.
Nice.
Is he being facetious?
Yeah,
Wookiee is never joking. He's always serious.
Oh.
no, he's not.
No, I just, because, you know,
He's being facetious.
there are plenty of different types of bagpipes, right?
But
Yeah.
but no, I know that they use some different like stuff like there was even like verses written in Sanskrit that
Yeah, I believe that.
the one lady that they had singing Raya Yarborough, I think is her name. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, I know in the old intro, like that sort of singing, that sort of almost chant was in Sanskrit. So,
yeah.
All right. We'll hit this boxy theory and then back on topic. Fresh off his successful Michael Jackson cover album, Boxy helps Lee shed pounds with his new Sweat into the Toaster industrial music exercise DVD.
What?
Oh God!
You see Chubby Lee in like leg warmers and the little wrist things and all that, just jumping around
with a Richard Simmons fro.
Yeah.
That's why I said he needs Richard Simmons. Did you see him try and get into the Raptor? He actually has to put his hands down on his knees.
Yeah.
Like, you know, dude.
Well, that's all right. I mean, Jane pushes him in. You know, like she helps him in the rest.
Oh,
So
you guys. You guys.
Oh man, hail Cylons, please do not Boxy at Toxic Man Flu yet. Thank you.
Mr. Jewels Collector just came in. Well, now I know. Somebody want to read that for me, please?
Well, now I know who's been in someone's ear to become another backstabbing piece of crap. Must be someone's work from someone on the panel.
What?
Got me?
I don't know what the hell that is about, but you can take that comment and you can just completely delete it. Like, we're here to talk about Battlestar Galactica, and I'm here under my real name, so I don't talk bad about other people, and I don't want to talk about other people's streams. This room is all about love, so thanks, but no thanks.
Oh, see, I thought they were talking about Roof Korean. You know, he sounds very threatening. You know, an avatar like that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but that's far too much drama. This isn't Days of Our Lives. It's just a stream about Battlestar Galactica. Shall we continue?
Yeah, take that. Wrench. Do your thing.
Yeah, please wrench that out of here. Okay, so we cut to Beers wandering in the dark through the camp. She stops at the dog to pet it and starts to chat with a surgery-bloodied Coddle. She tells him about dreaming. He's shocked that she dreams. She finds out Coddle has been saving and healing the Cylon wounded. Beers asks about the Helo Sharon baby. Beers asks why the toaster tot was cremated. She has stink eye, and Coddle is a bad liar. Any comments on this? Wow, was this ever intense, hey? There's so much going on in this scene because she's surprised that a doctor is helping to save Cylons. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, she's ferreting him out by his terrible countenance. His visage gives him away. Coddle has to be the worst liar since Dr. McCoy.
Right. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
It all comes down to humanity, right? I mean, it's the basic lesson of I think one of the lessons of the show is about how they begin to treat one another, and get over prejudices and things to just for the sanctity of life, not even human, just life itself, and accepting what life means. At some point, no matter if it's artificially created or if it's organic. Yeah.
So there's just so much happens in this scene between these two actors, and it's just terrific. Any thoughts on this one, Jane?
No. I mean, the only thing I was thinking was that he really wasn't trying to lie too hard. I mean, he's not particularly obligated to do any more than say the words.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he has his own motivation for being obvious.
Yeah, I got that impression as well. It didn't seem like he was trying to veil the possibility. And do you think that's because he's uncomfortable with lying, or do you think it's because he's not sure of the outcome? Like, what do you think the struggle is there? Because I'm trying to sort of figure out how he would rationalize sort of doing almost everything except for just giving a really cheap wink wink at Beers.
Well, I mean, it wasn't something he necessarily wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah.
So, um, who knows at this point?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Jane. He feigns trying to hide it, but I don't know. It seems like he almost is relieved to be confronted about it.
Someone else knows, finally.
Yeah, and well, that's a great comment. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe Coddle is just so human that he doesn't want to be left alone with this secret. I mean,
Well,
that's
Coddle's not a bullshitter, you know.
no.
He's straight up. So, you know, that's not in his nature, really, I think, to be a liar, to hide anything like that. And it's a big secret, you know. It goes against his ethics as a healer to
Yeah.
hide something like that from a mother. So I'm sure there's a lot of contradictions inside him about the whole affair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I
And
agree.
initially, the look on his face initially, he's like, "Huh, you're smart." He knows that she's smart. You figured this out. Oh, wait a minute. But he's thinking to himself, well, okay, she knows. Okay, all right, okay. And then in the end, she gets him on this point because he knows he probably said too much, and I think she wipes her finger on his frock, and she says, "It's funny
Yeah.
to me. This
Yeah.
all looks the same to me," and it's like, ooh. And he knows, like, she's right. She's 100% right.
I loved that because it was like, we all bleed red. And I loved what she was trying to say there. It's just it's really trying to get you to accept these cyborgs as as human beings, if not not only just equal, absolutely equal to human beings, but I don't know. There's something more happening there where they're just trying to show us how intense their feelings and love really is, and it's very scary.
Well, they're also a new species, so they're still dealing with a lot of these things. You know, they're
Yeah.
still dealing with things like emotions. Imagine,
Yeah.
you know, trying to be a superior species and then giving them all the fallacies of what their creators, what they consider to be lesser. So, I mean, that's a lot to deal with
Yeah,
from that perspective.
yeah.
Yeah, it's I always like anytime that Coddle's on screen because man, that guy just played that role so well.
Yes, sir.
And rest in peace to that actor. I know that he passed away. Wasn't it a couple years ago, Ruth Korean? Donnelly Rhodes.
It
passed
was,
away.
it was a couple years ago because playing Cyberpunk 2077, the first Ripper Doc you meet in the game, his voice is identical to Doc Coddle, and I couldn't help be sitting in the chair in the game, and I was watching your stream
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
on launch day, and I'm thinking to myself, where have I heard this voice before? And if you go back and play the game and talk to him, I'm like, he sounds like Doc Coddle, like, you know, ripping up a Cylon in Cyberpunk. So
We need
I
a
thought-
like. I'm sorry. No, sorry. I didn't mean to walk on you. I do that sometimes. when
yeah,
I'm excited.
I was done actually.
Oh, cool. Oh, sorry. We need a Doc
You didn't
Coddle.
notice?
No, I didn't. I just totally went blank and thought to myself, we need a Doc Coddle TV series of like him in his prime, right? You know what I mean? When he's like faced with great challenges and just slaying pussy. Like Doc Coddle was probably awesome. He was probably a drinker, didn't take no shit from nobody. You know what I mean? Slap dudes like bitch slapped them backhand. Psh, get out of my way, bitch. I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
Like I want to see that series. I want to see that spinoff.
well, no, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, Stephen, because they actually have there's a video game. It's that one that I told you about, Deadlock, Battlestar Galactica Deadlock, and there's a part of it where they have Doc Coddle in that. actually, back when he was a lieutenant, and he was just like
You have a chick on each arm.
starting out. No, but he was that dude that bucked authority, and he's definitely kind of what you think, minus them showing a chick on each arm.
Was he telling an authority figure where they could shove it?
Essentially, yes.
Okay, yeah, well, all right, I want that show.
He totally reminds me of McCoy. Like, but instead of, sipping the spirits and having a mint julep and being a real ladies man, instead Coddle is he's got a hint of like a MASH surgeon, MASH 4077 surgeon.
Yes.
He's got that. He's smoking a cigarette, and when he goes back to the tent, bruised and bloodied, he thinks, "Oh, the humanity," and it really, really eats at his soul. So he's a chain smoker, right? So,
right.
Yeah, he's a great character, isn't he?
Hides in liquor and women. That's what he does.
Yeah, that's where he hides. His fear is in liquor and women, and he finds courage in the OR. So, really, really, really compelling.
We gotta get together and write this. See, we're coming up with something great right now.
Yeah,
we need to write this show.
Anytime, baby, anytime. So, shall we continue, folks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we cut to Cavill. He's bitching about being in pain after being shot. He's on the presidential ship, which is, of course, everyone knows it's been landed on New Caprica. With the skin job council and Gaius, he speaks about the inhumanity of it and then goes into detail of how he killed himself to get back to the resurrection ship. It's his third download, and he describes how the resurrections are becoming painful. They all argue over the futility and brutality of war. Doral suggests they nuke New Caprica and put an end to all of it. Gaius is, as usual, very weepy. We cut to Athena and Anders. They talk about her retrieval of the launch keys. Ellen bursts in on them, accompanied by a resistance member. They put her unwillingly in the dugout. Anders asks Athena to look out for Starbuck. Any comments so far?
Why are you always hating on guys? Raquel? There's always like an extra explanation of how bad he is. Look, you know what? I really did enjoy. I really did enjoy how Cavill began to explain the downloads were getting more, were hurting them. It shows a weakness because up until this point, we've seen that they can be killed. We've seen how dangerous the toasters can be, and how dangerous they are. Like just how crazy that these machines can be. But we know that there's only been so many weaknesses that we've seen, and now that resurrection itself, which has been a previous weakness, is something that's hurting them. When the more and more you kill them, I like that.
Hope from hopelessness. Imagine when they find out. Hope from hopelessness, because so far the only people who die are people, not Cylons, and so this has been soul crushing for everyone. And so imagine when they find out. We have some really cool stuff happening in the chat. We have a wonderful pun coming down the pipe at 31 minutes past the hour. So Coddle is a Korean vet doc. Is he on the roof? Oh, very, very well played. TMF. That is some great wordplay. Very nice wordplay, playing with words. Lovely, lovely. And Dollified has joined us. Evening all.
Yeah.
What's up, Don?
Oh, man.
This is a pants-off stream, Dollified.
As soon as I got here.
Yep.
Yeah, as soon as Steven arrived,
Ripped
everyone took off their pants.
Yep. Like Magic Mike. Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm really happy. I've been engaged in activities that.
Shout out to Dollified, one of my colleagues at Bounding into Comics. Don Edmonds writes great articles. He is every bit a professional, great writer, great journalist, I'm 100% honored to be his friend and his colleague.
Still your chick.
Hmm. Yep. He got the cowbell.
More cowbell.
More cowbell.
Okay, so let's keep going.
Let's do it.
We cut to Maya holding Hilo and Sharon's toaster tot. It's Rosalind and Anders in the dugout talking about concealing the baby. He asks Rosalind if he should kill the baby rather than allow her to fall into Cylon hands. Rosalind tells him to never let it get to that point. Then we cut to Beers walking the camp, and she is giving a stink eye to all of the babies. Then we cut to a major human meeting back in the dugout. They plan the chaos that will assist Adama. It is revealed Lee and the Pegasus are not a part of the rescue mission. Rosalind is troubled by this, but the reason is shared only by Lee and the old man. The briefing continues. Rosalind reveals that the population has been practicing the evacuation procedures under the guise of fire and flood drills out in the open. Rosalind quietly goes to Anders and the expert marksman he's chosen to evac Maya and the Messianic toaster tot. In bursts the resistance member in charge of babysitting the pelvic swirl.
Oh my God.
She cries out for Saul, and the resistance member tightens his grip on her arm and announces, "We need to talk." So I'll stop here. Any feedback?
Yes, I love the way you write these. I love how in so few episodes we were placed in the situation, where they had just, we knew that New Caprica wasn't going to last. Anybody, even if you haven't watched the show, knowing that Gaius, see who he has been, and there's reasons for settling New Caprica, you knew something bad was going to happen. But they take you from that to a very dire situation where you have a resistance force and all of these things happening, and really places you inside of this world, this entirely new from everything that we've gotten before. And I'm really impressed by the writing and the acting involved in this show during these episodes, because it's not really that long of that big of a span of episodes that they thrust you into this. Yeah. and really put the pressure on you again, because you care about these characters at this point. So very proud of them. Also, Laura Rosalind is a cold-hearted something. That woman will make the decisions that no one else wants to make. Like, as a leader, I don't agree with every decision she makes, but as a leader, she's very calculating, and she's both caring and uncaring when she needs to be. Always impressed with Laura Rosalind and Mary's performance in this show. So.
Yeah, well, she's written really well. She can divorce herself from her feelings and act on rationalism and act on logic. And in that case, she's a groundbreaking character and written masterfully.
A strong female character, Raquel, that doesn't have to degrade those around her.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I don't know if we're ever going to get this again. I just don't. I'm not sure if we'll ever get this type of sincere writing ever again. I think on a go forward basis, it's unlikely. We have a great comment from 36 minutes past the hour from our Master of Disaster, TMF. Could you read that for me, please, Stephen?
Pelvic spin cycle from toaster to washing machine. Love you, Tox.
I love him too. Isn't he great?
Did you have something you wanted to say, Jane?
It's just sort of piggybacking on what you were saying. I was kind of surprised that Rosalind didn't just come out and say it. Kill them both before you let them fall into enemy hands. That's just how it has to be. There's no sense in dancing around it.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe she doesn't. I guess she was being. Maybe she doesn't want to realize it. Maybe she's trying to be gentle because she understands the orders that she's giving to this person, this soldier. But
he's just seeking clarification. He's like, okay,
right.
You want me to kill them, right? And
why not just pull the trigger and say it anyway? The thing is that there's a lot at stake. Like, so far, the Messianic toaster tot, we're not sure if this thing is on a Jesus or a Moses journey, right? So I think that Jane's right. Why not just come right out and be the king that will try and kill the baby, because that baby's going to usher in the 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 new monotheism, the new society. So yeah, it's kind of weird. She goes all the way up to that point, but then backs away from actually saying it. I don't know.
Raquel, I have missed your mind, hon. Love it. I love it.
Well, it's fascinating that just the dilemmas that are coming out, because this whole new Caprica storyline has really fundamentally changed a lot of ways a number of the characters. I mean, you're seeing different layers in the desperation on the ground that is causing them to causing like the very negative sides of humanity to come out because of desperation.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously not wanting to be annihilated, because essentially they know what time it is. They know that they have a quote unquote president over there on Colonial One, but he is, the government's entirely run by Cylons. They're under a dictatorship because, and it's not from Gaius himself. They're under a dictatorship because he's a puppet of the Cylons. So, they know that they have to fight back. They have to, do whatever it takes.
And Gaius is heading for an airlock at some point.
Yeah, which
Rosalind, don't suffer no fools.
No, she is very adamant that she don't play.
No, do not think you're playing with President Rosalind.
No.
But she's definitely not playing checkers. She's playing chess here, right?
4D,
because
5D chess.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly like Jane said. We've been talking about this for I don't even know how long, at least a year now. About how this baby is either on a Moses journey or a Jesus journey, and so she knows if she kills that kid, that could be the catalyst for something really awful to happen, because there are a lot of people who are turning at this point. There are a lot of people who are falling in love with these machines. They've now found a way for these machines, even though these are rape camps, to integrate their DNA with our human DNA with their programming, with their cyborg bodies. So really, really scary. Lots of scary stuff coming.
Yes. Agreed. Oh, I want to say hail to that Nigel movie guy. I know I ain't been around in a little bit, so maybe I'm missing some names, but I'm seeing new names in the chat, and I want to say thank you guys for being here and having fun with us. We love coming here every week, well, when we can. I've been busy. I've been lost for a minute, but thank you guys for being here. Hail to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Drew.
No,
I had something I had to do for a month. But it led to a great,
Work on the book.
Yeah, I was working on a book, all right. Yeah. You can say that. That's what I was doing.
And again, TMF has produced more wordplay at a very clever level at 42 minutes past the hour.
Maybe, just maybe, Roz needs to let the two species die to stop the cycle. Maybe.
The cycle.
Oh.
The cycle.
Upgang Actual says Gaius is milquetoast. Yeah, right now he is, because he's obviously.
Is that how you spell milquetoast?
Yeah.
Holy shit! I must be getting laughed at on Facebook. I used that word the other day, and that is not how I spelt it. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm admitting my own fallacies. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
No.
That's okay. We all learn. Nobody can know everything, and it's actually a sign of intelligence to admit when you don't know something. When people are sure they know everything, that's when you can be sure they're completely full of shit.
Can you see how Raquel did that? She was giving positive reinforcement while trying not to laugh her ass off at me.
I would never laugh at you.
You were trying. I know. You were holding it back. We could hear it. It's okay, Raquel.
No, not at all. Not
Here
at
we go.
all.
You're still laughing. I'm only
Right.
You know, in university, I met some people, and they would say "Goth" when they were talking about Goethe, and somebody was mocking them, making fun of them, and
Wait,
I just turned around and said, if you actually read the text and you knew what was happening in the text and you did not speak that language, you're actually showing that you're learned because you read it. You didn't. It's okay that you don't know how to pronounce his last name, and of course, it's an extremely difficult last name to pronounce. So, if ever I meet somebody who says Goth, I know that they've actually done the reading, and perhaps they haven't been in a university class to learn that it's Goethe. And I murder it because I only speak Greek and English. But yeah, everyone should always remain open and realize that we have hundreds of languages all over the world, and that there are many ways to say many different things.
Hey, I am 100% behind Girth. Absolutely.
I'm 100% behind Girth. I'd like to acknowledge Wookiee supremacy laughing at me. Yes, Wookiee, that's exactly how I spelled it. Yes. I spelled it.
Milk and toast.
Nigel, I like chocolate milk and toast.
I guess maybe I thought you were trolling on Twitter at some point. I'll find you and I'll unblock you, man. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Thank you for subscribing to me, man. Thank you. There was a period there where I just didn't suffer any crap. Maybe I read something wrong. It happens. I apologize, dude. Thank you for being here, and thank you for subscribing.
All right.
My last name is Blue, pronounced Giant Pecker. I love you. Jane dead. Jane, I love you.
That's why Jane's muted herself, because she's over there giggling her ass off.
I'm dying. That's hilarious.
Listen,
all right.
Jane mutes herself so you don't hear her laughing at or with you. Well, at most, or audibly rolling her eyes. I figured that out now.
Yeah.
She says "you dumbass" in her head quite an awful lot, but she loves me, so we're fine.
Jane's wonderful. Oh God, absolutely. Go ahead, Raquel. Let's.
All right, so we cut to Athena making her way through the camp. She gets plenty of hairy eyeballs. Some slurs are thrown at her, someone tosses a bottle at her. We cut to Ty. Ellen is found out. She confesses. We cut back to Athena. She enters the Cylon building and engages the interface. She gains access to the lockup area where the launch keys are, and Beers catches her in the act. Athena draws her gun on Beers. Beers tries to flip Athena. She tells her Hera is alive. Athena is shaken. Athena has flashbacks of the Toaster Messiah's death. Beers presses Athena to betray the humans. Athena shoots Beers in both legs, declares that the old man would never lie to her. Beers goes all exorcist, and Athena leaves.
Yeah.
Any comments here?
Yeah, going back to that interaction, Saul and I thought that Ellen's sort of moment there when she confessed to him what happened, and the realization that he knew that there was only one way that he could close the loophole and end the leaking of information to the enemy was to kill his own wife. I mean, just that whole interaction right there, it was very jarring, and both actors did a superb job on that scene. I thought that they absolutely displayed wonderful emotion in it, and that's what made it such a very jarring interaction.
You know what else is also jarring, Drew? Toxic Man Flu at 47 after the hour.
Oh boy!
No, not that one.
No, not that one. That's Parrot Head, honey.
Yes,
Yep.
that one. Yes. Roof Korean, would you read that for us, please?
Steve,
Come on, jump right in, brother. Come on, you got to jump right in on this team. Come on.
it's amazing. I am Lima Dama, pronounced Jane's womb broom.
Jane, would you like to retort, or would you just like to stay behind the wall
No,
of
no.
FUs?
Yeah, most of the time she's keep that muted. Right now, she's cursing. Right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
We should get Jane to like change her avatar to have her shirt say like Fat Lee is not canon.
There you go, Roof
boy.
Korean.
Oh boy.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my god.
Just she,
Perfection. I mean, that was just
she-
perfection.
she needs to.
Locked.
Oh!
She needs to be. She needs to make a avatar of herself with that. Fat Leodama is
Oh.
not canon.
That's great.
I love it.
Yeah.
How about I tap that? I'm pretty sure she would
Right.
wear a t-shirt that would say I tap that.
Right, like Lee in the workout room. You know what I mean? It's
That's
like-
right. That's right.
Well, no, she just needs that scene from season 2, episode 8, the final cut one, where Lee was in the towel, just running
Wow.
that on loop.
Drew knew what episode it was, the name. But
Well,
dude,
yeah.
that's a little
Duh.
sus, bro. I'm just saying.
You know, nobody can say that Jane isn't marriage material because she, you know, this guy's like a little pretty boy, and he's you know, lots of women like him.
Yeah,
but
he's gonna
for
ride up to
Jane,
Jane on a white horse.
Jane is not
white steed.
superficial. Jane is not superficial. It's also about his character. So I actually really love that, because instead of her just being like, oh, I'm just going to objectify this soul, which is something I would do. I objectify men all the time. But she actually has a soul. And so she actually cares about this guy. So
Wow.
no one should bug Jane. Okay.
Wow, that's great. That's great. I'm not going anywhere with that. I'm not, you're a good woman, Jane.
She
Defend
is.
your man.
She not just defend her. She's just not a fair weather friend. She'd be like, okay, look, you put on a few pounds. Do some push-ups on me. See, it's actually
Right.
to her benefit.
Right.
If Lee does push-ups on Jane,
Right.
there's no problem.
You gotta
She can
work
help
it
her
out.
cut
Right.
weight. Right? Right, Jane?
Well, that's
Like-
all right. I want to be Starbucks workout partner.
Whew.
Yeah.
Do you really? Do you want to get the Boltar treatment? You want to just like, you know, you're making this. You're not even making a sandwich. She's out. You're done. That's it.
Oh, 51 minutes past the hour. Please put that in the marquee for Jane.
I have a lot of respect for Jane. I respect that she knows where I live and has no qualms with dispatching me out of their life. You know,
With that sweet voice as he's floating out into space. Talk about my man, bitch.
yep.
Bye. Blocked.
Bye there.
Bye now.
All right. Let's now to get back on the scene where we had just ended. Like you know, the one thing I like with God and Lucy Lawless is so good with this character.
Yes.
Like she was laying out a persuasive argument to try to turn Athena, and Athena just was not having it. And how about the aim on Athena? She just double kneecapped the bitch. She's like, bap bap.
Well, she is a machine, right? She has the precision of a machine, right?
I mean, she just precision targeted that shit. She just like bap bap. Both
For me,
kneecaps.
though, I felt eviscerated when she says the old man would never lie to me.
Oh man. Yeah.
Like, you know, Jane, what'd you think of that moment? I thought that was just crazy because, of course, he has absolutely lied to her and used her. It's just crazy when she says that. It just breaks my heart.
Yeah, what did you guys think of that interaction between Deanna and Athena?
Her eyes look away right as she says the old man wouldn't lie to me, and she like
Yeah.
stops for a split second. Her eyeball just moves like she's thinking, wait a minute.
Yep.
It's what she's saying is making sense.
Yep.
Yeah,
Jane stepped away from her mic for a minute, guys. She'll be right back.
yeah.
And at that point she says, well, maybe, and she knows things, but all this is rushing in her mind quickly, but she still has the wherewithal not to kill her outright.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just thought, like I said, it was really well done between the both of them. But yeah, the Deanna Beers character is just so complex and so good, man.
Mhm.
I love that.
Anything Lucy does is good.
Yeah. I thought she was great in this show as a whole, Steven.
I do too. I
just don't like it when she has the Australian accent.
No, I love that.
Yeah,
that's her natural. Well, New Zealand, right? That's where she's
Oh,
from.
is she a New Zealander? She's a Kiwi? I didn't know that.
I believe she is. I love hearing her natural accent.
But
she's sexy. Since the 90s.
It's just a thing now with, again, the supporting cast even in this show, where you had like Richard Hatch and Lucy Lawless and people like that, and for their characters to grow and become major characters over time.
Well, not even that. Like we've talked about it before, the casting, the people that they brought into this show, the production was so well thought out and done. Even like one and done characters that were in just a single episode, or maybe in just like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Well casted, written, acted by classic sci-fi, actors. And I mean, it's just it's a compliment to everything about the show complements itself. There's a lot of work put into it. That's why it's one of my favorite shows. It's not just the writing, not just the production, not just the acting, not just the work they put into it, but everything complements each other, to the point where we're able to critique things that, like, on the basis of, the storytelling itself,
and
not anything else, really, because all of us have had 1 or 2 issues with some of the episodes, but we still love it because overall, it's a wonderful show.
Well, being a writer, you know that it's not easy to hold on to that continuity. It's not easy to work on an authorial team and keep that continuity over 170 episodes, 180 episodes, 190 episodes. I mean, it's once you start getting up there, I think mistakes are inevitable, because that's what happens when you work in a team and something is protracted like that, and also starts and stops. So yeah, I'm definitely willing to overlook the small infractions for sure, on account of just how wonderful the show is otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, with that terrible, there's that one that always sticks in my craw with Chief Terrell and Priest Cavill. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like that,
yes.
that just does not make sense. Like I don't, but I understand where they were going with it, but it wasn't done well.
I agree.
No, but as far as like a show, I don't remember a show in recent memory that took even like characters that you would think would be like you said, Stephen, like one-off characters, like for example, we go back all the way to season 1, and some of those Viper pilots, they were training the Nuggets at the time, well, turns out like Hot Dog had a significant role. Cat has a real significant role.
Yeah.
And it's just like having the ability to take characters that are almost like one-off characters and have them make a major impact. I mean, that's not something that every show can do.
Absolutely not. This show is the exact complete polar opposite of something like Star Trek Discovery, which is hideous and gets even more hideous with each episode, and actually strives to be more hideous with each following episode. Oh,
dude, but no, don't get your ship
sorry.
stuck. Don't get your ship stuck in the living ice. Oh my god.
I couldn't do it, Drew. I couldn't. After that episode, I couldn't do it. I said, "F this season. This play.
Right.
I'm glad I'm not. No good space.
If your writing can be mistaken for an act of vandalism, perhaps you should stop writing.
Yes.
Yes.
They don't.
Fair
They don't.
enough.
I don't know. It's positive space. This is a. I'm sorry, I even brought it up. Apply Orville cream vigorously when exposed to STD.
Apply Orville to the affected area 4 times daily.
Right.
No, for everyone who was wondering what Stephen was talking about, he was talking about the episode where Chief is dealing with PTSD and he nearly beats Callie to death. And
Right.
rather than fleshing that out for everyone, pun intended, what they do is they just sort of neatly tuck it away as though he faces no consequences, not even to himself.
Right.
And so we thought that that was a major shortcoming and betrayed the integrity of the characters as well as the show, because of course we want Chief to be better than that, and in a military environment we also want people to be able to take him to task for that and to say, look, that we're not going to put up with that. And
Right.
so, yeah, there have been mistakes along the way, but I just wanted to clarify in case anybody in the chat was like, what is Stephen talking about?
It just
But,
bothers me. You're right.
bothers me
absolutely right.
too.
Because these are warriors, right? And this is a wartime. This is the most desperate of war times. You're facing genocide. These are like keeping a structure, keeping integrity within that structure is something that you need. Everyone needs to be disciplined. Look, I was just in a situation like a couple, not too long ago, where a dude flipped out at a lady, and like the first reaction of the men involved was, "Do we need to kick his ass?" And that's just being disrespectful with your mouth. Like, I just don't understand how Chief does this, and none of his friends, none of like his commanders, nobody disciplines him for that, or shakes him loose. Something.
Yeah. Well,
Something.
the thing that I loved was actually Jane's comment, because Jane said, well, even if they didn't have like this day of reckoning where the guys came and beat him with soap in his bunk or whatever, why not face the issue head on? I believe I remember Jane saying that this is something that happens every day. So why not just have that discussion? Why not make that a part of the dialogue just to tie it all up together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but like instances like that are not the norm, as far as the storytelling, but it's a big miss. That's a big miss to me, but still, it doesn't destroy the integrity of the series.
No, not at all. Yeah, it was a blip on the radar, but it wasn't like anything that was like really like where it hurt the series in any way. It hurt the episode, but not the series.
One other narrative thread in that episode further back with Tyrell's interacting with Brother Cabell. The other underlying thread or the plot point is that his Tyrell's parents, or at least his father, was heavily involved in the old religions, and he turned back to faith when he didn't know what was going on, or he found it easier to talk to somebody. And that, I think that episode they threw in the Tyrell flipping out on Callie, they probably could have picked something different, because that needs to be closer to an upcoming episode. I won't spoil anything, but it makes more sense and it gives context further episode coming up. So I think it would have been better had they put it closer, because it will make sense soon. If that makes sense.
No, well said.
Yeah. Hey, Jane, are you back?
I'd say he's evading child support.
What did you think, really quickly? Because it's trying to get your thoughts on the interaction between Athena and Deanna Beers when she was getting the launch keys.
Oh shoot. I did not care about either of these characters, so.
Exactly. I swear to God, I was about to joke and say, James be like, was Lee in this scene?
No.
No, I think that Jane has a deeper reason. You don't care about either one of these characters. For what reason, Jane?
They're just not particularly interesting to me. As the story begins to expand, you're introducing all these new characters, and honestly, I still prefer the core characters the most in their storylines.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Dig it.
really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's a good point too, because this show is great in the sense that it's different things to different people. So everybody has their favorites and their different way of an episode means to them, or what characters mean to them, and that's what's so cool about it. Because it appeals to a very broad spectrum. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Raquel, if you want to go ahead and bring home the last bit of the episode, go right ahead.
Okay, then let's do it. Okay, we cut to the camp. Athena gives Galen the launch keys. They have a super awkward conversation about Chief's baby. Athena asks Galen about the Toaster Messiah's ashes. Asks Chief if he actually saw them when he released them into space. Galen is innocent here, so he sincerely assures her. Athena tells Galen to never let his son out of his sight. And wow, do you ever have a sense of foreboding there? You're not sure what she means by that. Then we cut to the fleet in space. It's an artistic shot, a close-up of the old man's desk. We pan out and the lens draws focus on Adama at his desk. Hilo walks in and asks for the old man's attention. Hilo announces that Sharon delivered the launch keys. In an authorial move that demonstrates the nature and power of Adama's command, he hammers his desk as though a verdict has been given in court. It is magical. Then we cut to the rec room. The horn rings and Racetrack picks it up. It's just Racetrack and Kat in the room. Racetrack hangs up and tells Kat, "It's on," but she fails to follow it up with "like Donkey Kong." No, just kidding. So then we cut to the CIC. Adama walks in and he announces it to the fleet, all of Galactica. It's a rousing speech. He tells them they are immortal legends, like the gods of the pantheons of the pantheon. They are makers of mythos. They stand by for a combat jump, and that's the end of the episode, folks.
Hold on. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves for a second, because I want to see.
Does somebody just come over, Drew? Are you
No,
wearing your Drew? What?
I got something I'm going to share, but I need to find it really fast.
I mean, are your pants on? All right. Anyway,
who are you sharing it with?
Sore arms incoming. So
yes,
I love Admiral Adama, man. He can always when the writing that he has to act on, like when he's giving those inspirational when he's giving those inspirational speeches, is like nothing else. Like you believe it. Like Edward James Olmos is has such a powerful presence on screen. Whatever
Stand
he's doing,
and deliver.
Yes, like whatever he's doing, you just believe it.
He could do nothing. He could literally just stand there and stare, and it's like,
I agree.
Yes,
I'm afraid. I don't know what whatever you need me to do. He's fantastic at that. I love him so much.
I think Jane would have like the same relationship almost with Starbuck or Duala with the old man if they were to meet in real life. It's like a cross between really admiring him, but then also kind of being like his daughter. Mm-hmm. I feel the same way about him. He makes me feel the character and the actor is just
He makes me proud to be a man. When I'm watching him on screen. That's how he makes me feel. But I completely understand how that would be, because I think I would feel the same way. I would follow him into battle. I believe him.
Like that's a true leader.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of that moment when he used his hand like a gavel in court, Jane? Wasn't that crazy when he just slams it?
Mm-hmm. That was his moment.
Mm-hmm.
Adama is the manager you would send to a Karen. You know what I mean? Like,
he might choke her.
But is he the manager or is he the CEO? I think he's the CEO.
Yeah.
Okay,
he would just come down and tase her. And just wouldn't even put up with it. He would just come down, tase her, walk away.
He would stare. He would shut her up Side eye.
Yeah, just with some side eye. I totally agree.
No, just
Little
up
stink
and
eye.
right then.
Yep.
Absolutely. I mean, let's not forget that he did face off with like the Galactic Karen herself and took care of business.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Everybody at home, look at the icon. Look at Steven's icon.
Thank God for Culture Casino made this for me. This is Admiral Karen.
So funny. Oh, poor Rolaren.
And you know, even with when he was you know, with Gaius, if y'all remember that one scene where Gaius was giving quote unquote commands to him,
Mhm.
he was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll do this," but it was entirely his choice, and you knew
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
All
He was
right.
scared of him. Like, you know,
He was
Gaius was
terrified.
scared. You know,
For
yeah.
good reason.
All right. So check this out. This was just an awesome moment. I actually made this intro a long time ago. I used this for my internet radio show that I always did, but man, this is just on point. So check this out, guys. Hold on.
All right.
Yeah, that's awesome, Drew. I'm riveted right now. I'm sorry. Drew, did we share the audio?
Did I not share the audio?
I mean, I could just sit here and fake it and be like, yeah, but no.
Hold on.
That's a rookie mistake, man. Rookie mistake.
Oh man.
Yeah, an angry Admiral Adama is staring at you right now, and he does not want to talk to your manager.
Oh geez, oh man. All right. So take two.
Take two and call me in the morning.
Yeah, Boomer. Exactly, Tox. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the button. I know where it is somewhere.
I know there's a button here somewhere.
All right. Hopefully
Hello,
this
darkness,
time.
my old friend.
Is it working?
Sure.
It's not working?
Yeah, I don't know what is it. Is this a silent track?
Is this thing on?
Is this a period?
Oh my gosh.
Did you click the little button? the little checkbox. You all right, Drew?
Oh my god. No, I hate StreamYard sometimes.
So funny.
Oh my god, man. Admiral Karen is very upset right now.
Yeah.
She would like to see the manager.
Straight to the airlock with you.
She has her cell phone out. She is recording you and how ignorant you are and not capitulating to all the bitching she's doing in your face. Incoherent babble and sentence fragments. Oh my god, bro, are you serious? Like, I'm trying to fill up time by like being an idiot. And what are you doing, guys?
No, I'm just I clicked share. I clicked share
Okay, well-
audio,
All right.
so it should be good to go.
All right. Incoming.
All right, we're ready. Oh yeah, man, this is badass, man. This is awesome. When does it start?
It's going.
Is it? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, it's
And it went.
it's not going out here.
It went.
I don't know.
Oh, buddy.
So Jane, what do you give this episode on a scale from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, whatever your flavor? What do you think of this episode?
I mean, it's not one of my favorites. I mean, it was good. There were quite a few emotional moments, shocking moments. So I would probably say a 7 out of 10.
Oh, beautiful.
Damn.
Steven,
Even a
Steven, what are you
7.
giving this one? What are you giving this bad boy?
I'm gonna agree with Jane. I'm gonna say 7 out of 10. I look forward to the follow up. I think the next few episodes, because I mean, at this point in the show, I couldn't stop watching. I needed to know, like, okay, this is incomplete. I need the next part. I need the next part. So it's definitely worthy of a 7. for the scenes, and Laura Roslin just being a cold-hearted bitch. I love that character. I love all these characters for various reasons. But yeah, about a 7 for me. It was a good episode. It was a good middle, a build up to, and I really wanted to look forward to the next one. And the next one was really good. So yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I deserve that. No, honestly, it's StreamYard's fault for not
StreamYard's fault.
Yeah,
Sure
for not,
it is.
Like a typical man, shift the blame.
I'm gonna pull the old Democrat tactic. Yeah, it's StreamYard's fault.
I mean, Drew, you have a comm and tech scholar and author on your panel, and you couldn't screen share audio. I'm just saying, bro.
I did. Actually.
What did you think of this episode? Fine, sir. Please tell me what you thought of this episode.
Well, on the initial watch, I probably thought it was a bit slow with a lot of quick cuts, but we've watched this series multiple times, and this became, especially with the actors like Saul, handing his wife the.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh my God, I forgot.
What he's about to do. He plays with one eye. He plays that so well.
Yeah,
like the emotion. So a lot of this on a second watch, so you really appreciate just how good these actors interacted with each other.
True.
How much fun they were probably having on set. I mean, Richard Hatch and Laura, like in that scene, like joking around. They look so comfortable. Like you would have died to be there to like see these guys filming it. This is probably having fun. So a second walkthrough, excuse me. I'd give it a 7, cool. 8. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say that I found the interaction with Jane Theory tonight very compelling because it sort of created a little highlight for me on the fact that I don't think that this season is quite as strong as seasons past. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a 7. With the comment that I agree with Jane Theory. I find all of the acting compelling and exceptional, and the writing is compelling and exceptional. But I find that I'm more passionate about the core characters. And what is it? Centrifugal force. When you get to the outer edges of it, it just doesn't seem as powerful and intriguing and as engrossing for me. So I'm alongside Jane on this one, and I'm going to give it a solid 7.
Now you see, Raquel, that was beautiful. Yeah, good idea. And she agrees with Jane for good reasons. I do it out of fear. Because she's like a Dama. She doesn't have to say much, but when she does, you better fucking listen.
No, I just don't think that this season is as quite as strong as the first and the second season. And I just, like I said, that centrifugal force, it's very powerful at the nucleus of it. And as we move out, sorry for the mixed metaphor, as we're moving to the outer reaches of it, I don't know if I care as much about what happens to Beers as I care about what's happening with Starbuck.
I care about what's happening to Gaius because I would love a year of just debauchery and drinking and not giving a damn. And then he's thrust into this terrible position where that Rosalind at some point is going to drag his ass to an airlock. So I'm actually worried. I'm worried for Gaius.
Yeah.
Well, this is a portion of it, Stephen, where we've actually seen Gaius be as weak and human as he has been the entire show. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
yeah, he just got rode by like 1,000 Starbucks. Told, you ain't worth shit.
Well, no, but being in that sort of helpless position where you're stuck as the head of a government, but you are basically a puppet because you have people controlling you by force. I mean, that's a daunting position for anyone to be in. It would absolutely put you at a crossroads of where you even wanted to live
Okay, well then let
Especially,
me stop you there. And you've created a moral and an ethical conversation. So now I want to ask you right now. I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to put everybody on the spot.
Oh snap!
So you're in power and you have the authority to sign a document which ensures your own existence, but make sure that 500 people or 1,000 people are brutally murdered or appear before a firing squad. Uh, is your act self-preservation, or is your act one where you say, I want no part of this?
I'm a patriot, so I would take the firing. I would take the bullet myself. But
Yeah.
that's how I feel. But
Yeah.
not everybody that would be faced with that situation with essentially, a gun at their head would feel the same way.
And that's exactly what Ronald D. Moore and his team are trying to
Yeah.
elicit inside of you,
Mhm.
is that dilemma where people say, "Oh, I would do this," or "Oh, I would do this," but until you're in that actual situation, you're not sure how you would react. You're not sure what you would actually do. But it sure is fun to pump one's own tires and say, I think I would do this. I want to believe that of myself. For me, yeah, I would 100% take the bullet. There's no way that I could sign the death warrant of 1,000 people.
I would have not taken the bullet.
Well, yeah.
Would you care to share that with the class?
Absolutely, I would have not taken the bullet because as soon as I was put in that position, as soon as if I had been him, all right, I mean, all the way up to that point where the Cylons come, yeah, I would have been scared out of my mind. But I would have then at some point shifted into an infiltrator. I would have become a part of the resistance at the highest level in some capacity, in some way. So I would have been using that position to shift information, to give information.
Very interesting.
So either I would have died up to that point, or no, I would have continued to be a resistance member, and I would have signed the document.
That is a very interesting reply. Jane, would you sign the death warrant, or would you take the bullet?
Good question. Suppose it would depend on the circumstances.
You're in Gaius' circumstances. What would you do?
You're drinking. Yeah. You're Gaius Baltar, Jane. Be Gaius Baltar.
And now you can't even get it up.
Then at that point, you have to take the bullet, right?
Damn right.
Jane Fury, I love you.
Oh, God. That's the highlight of the night for sure.
Oh, so funny. Roof Korean, what are you doing, dude?
I forced them to make me take the bullet. Yeah. But if you think of Gaius as not just as president of the colonies, but think of him as a prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
And he's being held against his will and now being told. So I would have done actually the same thing he did. And I would have said, no, I won't sign it. You shoot me. And you think of yourself as like a prisoner of war. And these things have happened, even journalists. It's happened to journalists. You're going to die. So you can do two things. They'll usually ask you personal information to get a hold of your family. If you've been captured, like this is like in a theater of war, for example, and they'll ask for things that they can use against you to try to, but you're captured. You're not, unless, SEAL Team 6 rappels out of the sky and Halo jumps in, you're done for. Like they're going to make an example out of you and use it to embarrass you and put you down. So I think I would have done the same thing he did and just said, no, you'll have to shoot me.
There is another theory that you do what you have to do to survive so that you live to fight another day, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's where I'd come from.
Signing on to those names, though, I don't know if that would be good enough for me. Because I either dead or alive, they're still going to die.
Well, give Jane a chance to unpack that, though, because I think Jane's trying to get to a larger point, which isn't surviving the victory. Go ahead, Jane, and take the floor.
Exactly. And the fact that there are still other human lives at risk. Those are all the humans. There is a still ongoing war here. And there's still a chance of victory later. You may be able to play a role in that.
Mhm.
Exactly, and that's where I'd be approaching it from, because I would have passed on information. I would have played scared. I would have played the part of the prisoner, but I also would have passed on information and tried to do what I could. And you're right. It would be the needs of the many. That would be that I would have.
I am I am so right now, guys, just fighting the urge because I want to make like a relevant today point, but I'm not. I'm just.
Nah, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
As long as you don't produce that clip that actually doesn't play, as long as you don't do that again, I'm okay.
No, I just Steven knows my thinking. He knows I'm used to doing those streams with Wes, and I'm just gonna shut up because I'm gonna go into one of those things. I'm gonna go into one of those things I talk about on the streams I do with Wes, and that's probably not good right now.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do it. Instead, let me embarrass myself. Tox. My hamstrings are fine, actually. It's my knees. It's my knees. That's a little bit in my back and my arms. So I was doing a lot of different things, a lot of different positions. But you know, when you're doing sessions, you need to do things in between those sessions. So my knees, sir, and I am very proud of it.
He was elongating his arms while lowering his ears. We have the Up Gang actual at 23 minutes past the hour. Gaius was allowing Gata to feed information to the resistance. Yes.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you know, with this whole thing, it's an interesting dilemma. But at least for me, scoring the episode, I would say 7.5.
Drew's player was shooting blank.
It was.
It was. But it didn't stop him from continuing to try. Do you know what I mean?
I tried.
Drew is a soldier. He will push rope until it is just over.
He will, you know?
I tried. I don't accept defeat.
Poor Drew had the same moment as Gaius on the same moment that we're covering in the same episode.
Yes. There's Jane throwing him at an airlock. Bye there.
Bye now. Jane waving like the queen.
Right.
Oh God. Yeah, I'm going 7.5 on this one.
All right.
You got to be bigger than everybody else, huh?
So
you got to have more girth.
Well, I want to look ahead to the rescue mission next week, because I think that you know, the Exodus Part 2 is one of the, you know, in a season where, like Steven alluded to, this season probably wasn't as good as what season 2 and season 1 was. Mm-hmm. But Exodus Part 2 is one of the episodes in this season that really stands out. There's some really iconic moments in it. You know, you guys that are watching along with us, you're going to enjoy watching that episode for next week when we break it down. And it's kind of bittersweet because a certain namesake of our show may encounter.
Don't talk about it now. I absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait till next week, because that drives me crazy. That was I don't know. I just feel like it was unneeded.
Yeah. Yep. And we'll get into that, because we are going to have a huge discussion about that. And Steven, I am right there with you, and I can't wait to have that little discussion. You know, next week when we break that episode down. It's going to be some fun.
Brother, we need to put together a montage of different, like, I don't care, pictures. I know we can't use clips so much, but of what we're going to lose, because that's a beautiful ship. Beautiful ship.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. When Drew does that little. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful ships in science fiction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's very few ships who get me nostalgic of like the NCC 1701. That is my absolute favorite spaceship, science fiction spaceship of all time. The original. and the battle stars from this series are another pair of ships, you know, that I just love, you know. What? Maybe the commander can get Drew's player to rise up and produce next week. Wow. Shooting blanks. Gotta keep pushing though.
You do.
I mean, it depends. Are you pushing rope?
Oh man, funny talks.
Oh, TMF, love you. Pegasus.
Oh. All right. Well, the time has come to go around the panel and let everybody plug their channels and their projects and what everyone's doing. Of course, we want to thank Ruth Korean for coming on tonight and actually being a part of the panel, making that jump from chat to panel.
Yeah.
And of course, as always, having the lovely Raquel and Jane Theory, you know, two of the most wonderful women in our community and great minds in themselves. And of course, having Stephen back was amazing, you know, because the brother always brings it. So, all right.
Yeah, right. The author delivers, ladies. Sorry.
All right. We will go around and let everybody sort of share their stuff. So we'll start with Raquel.
Well, first, I want to thank the panel. Thank you so much for having me and interacting with me tonight. You guys are terrific. It's like this thing is a book club. I want to thank everybody in the chat for all of your wonderful contributions and for hanging out with us and allowing us to stream with you tonight. And I had a wonderful time. My name is Raquel M. Briggs. You can find me R.M. Briggs. You can find my published nonfiction at academia.edu. But that is textbook stuff. So you can find my science fiction at RM Briggs at Amazon.com or on your Kindle device or app under RM Briggs. I'm also doing a Star Trek show on Clobbering Times on Saturday night. So check it out.
And Ruth Korean, you got anything going on?
Not much going on. I'm pretty much lurking in all of your chats throughout the internet, which I think is safe for me right now. I'm working on a little gifty project just to keep this is for the author Stephen Walton, and I do want to let the chat know that they should definitely subscribe to everybody. It was a pleasure being on with Raquel and Drew and the author Stephen Walton, of course the lovely Jane. Thank you so much. It was excellent. Mr. Stephen Walton, I recently ordered two books on a thing. I'm curious, do you personalize the autographs?
I can. We'll talk after the stream goes down.
Wonderful.
Okay.
All right, and of course, on to the lovely Jane Theory.
Hello. You can find me here on YouTube where I post movie and television reviews and pop culture commentary. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jane Theory.
Yeah, all right. And last but not least, the returning great emperor of this great fandom community, the author Stephen Walton. I mean, he came in like gangbusters tonight. So take it away, Stephen.
Oh man, I've really missed being here, guys. I apologize to all my subscribers. I haven't been putting out much content in the last few weeks. I've been on a personal journey, a spiritual journey, in the last several weeks that has turned out very well. I'm glad to be back. I thank you for those nice words, Drew. But the truth of the matter is that everybody involved in this fan community is an individual and a leader unto themselves. Each of us is an example to others, and we rise together because our diversity, our individuality is our strength. Our different perspectives adds to our overall human experience. From everybody in the chat to all the different channels. So glad to see Ruth Korean jump from the chat. Somebody who's been involved in the chats where I used to watch different YouTubers before I created my own channel, people that inspired me. And now I'm involved in this community on the panels and on shows and have my own channel. And I'm able to share that experience with you guys and also garner strength from you. We're going through some pretty tough times. If you're in America or if you're anywhere else in the world, we're you're facing things, you know, there's darkness all about you, but it is up to each and every one of us to be a light, to shine bright, never stop in trying to improve yourself, never stop trying to be the best version of yourself. And that will translate in your actions, your positivity, and what you mean to others. Always be good to somebody because you never know what they're going through. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so happy to be back with my friends. Please subscribe to all these wonderful people. Please check out. We're going to get Ruth Korean to start a channel. Now he's coming on panels. We're going to start getting. We're going to get him to get a channel going. That's what we're going to do. Please check out Oliver Kell's books because we independent authors, we really need the support of the community. We rise together. We don't have an industry support us. We just have one another. My love to y'all. I am author Stephen Walton, the fandom menace historian, your historian, born in the chats of the High Council with my brothers and sisters fighting for our modern mythologies. Wash your hands, wash your ass, brush your teeth. Be good to each other. Peace.
So say we all.
Oh,
So
yeah.
say we all.
So say we all, guys. Thank you. Take care of yourselves and each other. And until next week, so say we all indeed. Good night.